What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today we laugh at dummy heads. Because I'm reading, you're listening, you lazy people, from the subreddit called r/StoriesAboutKevin. And I struggled really hard with that intro. Ironic, right? Reading stories about Kevin. See? Wow, come on, Zach. More like Kevin, am I right, guys? No, I'm not, because I'm stupid, obviously. Alright, this story's called, My Manager Tries to Win an Argument by Yelling, What about scabies? And that I know nothing about a subject because I'm book smart, but I don't know myself. This happened a couple years back, and I still will burst out laughing at the thought. Not sure if this is a Kevin moment or a Karen moment, I'll let y'all decide. This is a story about my current manager. We'll call him Donald, as he is a lot like a certain ex-president, but without the money, and that'll give you a good idea of what I'm working with. I was coming down with a cold at the time and had mentioned it to my manager, as I thought that I might have to call in sick soon. No big deal. He said something like, well, take some vitamin C and you'll be fine. He's the type of guy to question any health condition because he feels no matter what, he has it worse. I'm a big fun fact person, filled with random trivia and tidbits. I like to say I know a little bit about most things. Some of this comes from my lack of friends in school and a fascination with scientific journals. So I responded in a fun fact type of way, oh, did you know it's actually a myth and there's been no study that correlates vitamin C intake with recovery time of a cold? And oh my god, his face changed from mild amusement to stark anger. What are you talking about? Donald retorted. Everyone knows that vitamin C helps with a cold. I told him, yeah, it's a pretty popular wives' tale, I think, actually. But there's no proof. In fact, that company that made citrus-flavored fizzy powder cold remedy got sued over making those exact claims and lost. I'm now confused over his change in mood. I don't understand why you're even arguing this, Donald said as he turned his chest towards me and pushed it forward. He's really into obvious and deliberate body language expressions because he thinks he's really intimidating looking. Obviously, based on this conversation alone, to mask his deep insecurities with his ego. And then I saw a light bulb go off in his head. He had got it. The one thing to shut me down and prove him right. He yelled, haven't you heard of scurvy? I am floored. I think to myself, yeah, the disease caused by vitamin C deficiency? I think for a second and decide it's a lot funnier if I let him go on believing he won this. Not only did he believe that vitamin C will help with a cold, but that scurvy is a transmittal disease. I smiled, held back laughter, and said nothing. I prepared to leave and get to work, but he was not done. He said to me, you know, OP, you're probably book smart, but you need to learn more about yourself. Now, in addition to having very few friends in school, I've also seen some stuff. I live with PTSD from the experiences. The recovery process from my experiences had forced me to grow up, and the mental illness I acquired and born with forced me to understand myself greater than others in order to properly manage my symptoms. I will not have someone who knows nothing about me say something like that, but I am a fun fact type of person to the bone. I turned around, walked up to his desk, leaned down into his face and said, I don't think you know me well enough to say that. And I smiled. It was just a fun fact after all. He was speechless. He stammered out a weak, oh, okay, well, while he did his best to avoid eye contact. I stayed a few more seconds to make sure he was done. After that, I went back to work and had a real good laugh. Now, whenever he is being a real jerk or tells me to do something a certain way that I know will have to be redone later the correct way, I just think of him yelling, what about scurvy? And then looking so smug with himself. Always forces me to laugh. Okay, cool story and everything, but where's the scabies? Huh? No mention of scabies in the story. I want a refund. Alright, this story's called Kevin's Escapades in Espionage and Enemas. Extra large. Let me introduce you to my brother Kevin. Kevin is 26. I'm 19. And he has been wreaking havoc for at least 10 years now. Not quite sure where to begin, so I'll start with childhood. When I was very young, I remember Kevin being a teenager. When I was 9, he was really at his peak of being a teenager. Kevin intersected with Kyle quite often, complete with drinking Monster and backwards hats, though surprisingly never did punch any drywall. Kevin spent most of his time in high school skipping class, trying to surf on a lake — we live 2,000 miles inland in Iowa — and trying to start campfires in the backyard. He didn't really hit full idiocy until his summer between his first and second year of college. Kevin's first spectacular adventure was in a hotel downtown in my mid-sized city. Not exactly a good place for adventure, but Kevin does not have the logic skills to figure that out. He decided it would be a good idea to go there dressed as a spy. He was like 6 foot 8 inches tall and really thin at the time, so it kinda worked. He walked into the hotel lobby wearing a suit and tie and tried to convince random people he was a Russian diplomat who needed their help. Kevin predictably tried to fool the security guard into giving him a luxury hotel suite. It didn't work. Kevin's ass got arrested. Bit of an overreaction by the cop, to be honest. And my parents sent me — remember I was a young teen — to get Kevin out of jail. Charges were dropped. Okay, Kevin sounds like a cool dude. Next up was his marijuana phase, which was later that summer. He smoked a metric frick ton of weed — it's illegal here — and sat in the backyard listening to reggae music all summer. He's white. Fairly harmless, right? Wrong. Kevin, stoned out of his mind, bumbles into the house at 2 a.m. after falling asleep outside. As he climbs up the stairs, he falls backward and breaks both legs and a wrist. Does he stop there? Of course not. Instead of sitting still and yelling for help, he tries to drag himself upstairs, worsening the injury. The next summer, Kevin was considerably more malicious than before. He developed one especially shocking obsession that was giving random strangers enemas? Oh, what? He taped a freaking printed off porno of some Asian lady getting an enema to his wall and claimed it was his art, and screeched like hell when my dad tried to take it down. Okay, I don't want to be friends with this guy anymore. Soon, he was trying to hook up with girls who would let him give them an enema. This was a daily fixation. We spent most of the summer watching him type away about how he wanted to give — insert girl of the week — an enema. He also spent $500 of my dad's cash on raw honey to use in enemas. Honey? In an enema? What? In recent years, he hasn't gotten much smarter. He also tried out for a high school football freshman team. Not his school, he's 26. Sold my dad's class ring to a pawn shop to buy enema — video of the adult variety. We paid 7 times sale price to get his ring back. Oh my god. And melted down an expensive kitchen knife and made a dildo out of it. He bought a copy of every religious book — Bible, Quran, etc. — and pissed on it, okay, and put it on YouTube. He raged about being banned for weeks. He stuck a whole jar of Tabasco sauce up his own anus and had to go to the hospital. He bought 50 brooms and claimed they were enema rods. He tried to surf on a lake during a tornado warning and nearly got hit by lightning. He tried to fry an egg on a sidewalk in negative 10-degree weather. He claimed the egg would burn because cold and hot are the same at the extreme. Overall, a butthole obsessed with buttholes. He shows vile contempt and rage toward my dad every day. My mom has mostly escaped unharmed, but she has done this by ignoring Kevin, not by any magic. My parents still feel the need to retape his triple hell anal fisting poster in the main hallway every time he comes home so he doesn't know it has been moved. He goes crazy if someone moves his precious poster. Okay, he started off as kind of a cool, seemingly funny guy, but god, that got real weird real quick. Alright, this story's called Kevin's 6-Month Escapade That Ruined the McDonald's I Work At. I'm here to tell you a tale about the worst Kevin that I have ever had the displeasure of working with. As you know, McDonald's isn't known for the intelligent employees that run the store, but this Kevin wasn't even the bottom of the barrel. More like the gross molding dirt under the barrel. He recently got fired a week ago, and I wanted to commemorate his legacy by sharing with you all the awful and downright stupid things that he did. Now, when you think of fast food, you probably think that the employees have to be fast. Well, you'll be partially right. You need to be fast at making the food, but you don't want to run around and flail about. This Kevin decided on his first day to run around like a mad lad, bumping into everyone and pissing them off, and he always wondered why people didn't like him. He thought because of my age that I was only working there for about 1 month when I told him that I was working there for over a year. And even after I told him that, he still would explain how everything in the store would function, even though I operated everything he explained. He was our maintenance man for the store, so he was tasked with fixing everything. But he would run off when he was in the middle of another job, and the manager would get mad at him for keeping our times down. He was openly sexist, making jokes like calling to girls that he worked with, "Hey woman." Then he once complained to me about my close friend who was telling him to pay attention to his station, that he wished I was calling things out. I made it clear to everyone that me and her were very close friends due to how I acted around her. He would break just about everything because he would bang on baskets to get nuggets out or throw things around recklessly. This made his job a bit of an oxymoron, as he was a maintenance man who broke more things than he fixed. He dropped a bag of nuggets into the fryer with plastic, and not once but twice. This ruined both of our skimmers as they got coated in plastic. He once tried to fix a dishwasher as it wasn't turning on. He immediately assumed that it was our breakers acting up, so he decided to go to our breakers and flip the one for the dishwasher on. The thing was, he couldn't find the one for the dishwasher, so he decided to start flipping off and on every one that he could find, shutting down half the store before he was stopped. His final write-up came when he got caught smoking in our storage house out behind the store. This was a big issue, as a few years back, the storage house caught fire because an employee decided to go smoke in it as well. What finally did him in was when he decided to call 10 minutes before his shift started, stating that he couldn't be in that day. The manager told him that if he didn't come in, he was getting a write-up. He said that he didn't care and was promptly fired. Kevin was a weird guy, and you could tell by his mannerisms, which made me believe that he was either doing drugs or had a mental disorder. He supposedly put butter on everything and hated vegetables. He would tell people this despite being in his 40s and nobody caring. I also heard him say he took 3 5-hour energies on his break, which was only 30 minutes. I also want to mention this as it wasn't ever traced back to Kevin, but he was the most likely suspect. The manager once found a stash of beer cans below the trash bag in the boys' bathroom and nips outside as well. While they never found out who did it, I have a feeling it was Kevin, as he was the only person allowed in the bathrooms during as part of his job, and it would explain his weird decision-making. So that's the story about Kevin. There might be a few other incidences that I could have missed, but that seems to be the most of it. Wherever you are, Kevin, I want you to know you're now the butt of every joke at work and you will not be missed. Seems like a weird dude, but weird people make great stories, as you can see here. This story's called Kavina Doesn't Understand How a Library Works. This happened on Sunday. Kavina came to the library and wanted to know why there were charges on her account. I help her and tell her that according to our system, you have multiple items checked out that are overdue. Do you have these items checked out? I list everything she has checked out: books, Blu-rays, and DVDs. And she says yes. She then asks me, "What do you mean overdue?" Turns out that Kavina had no idea you had to return things you check out from the library. She thought that she got to keep them, and that us informing her of the due dates and highlighting the due date on the receipt was a suggestion of when to return if she didn't want to keep the items. Naturally, she made a big fuss of not wanting to pay the late fees because she had no idea she had to return the items. Unfortunately for me, the library director was doing a walk around and heard the big fuss she was making. After explaining the situation to him, he made me waive her fees and asked the Kavina that she just make sure to return the items and you'll be fine. Although I'm pretty sure we're never going to see those items again, because as she left, she said, "I can't believe y'all would lie about giving away free things to people who really need it. I'm never coming here again." So, yeah. What? First of all, library director, cool guy, very, very nice, but man, I feel bad for libraries. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.